6 years ago, I'm sitting there in my house and I find out I'm about to become a father. That is where the story begins and how the mindset shift happened on knowing I needed to make hijrah. I'm sitting there in the UK in my house. Alhamdulillah, Allah blessed me with a child, a son. But when I sort of had a feeling that, I was going to become a father, that is exactly when the switch happened. I knew that I didn't want to raise my children in certain countries. And so I knew I had to do something about it. So I'm going to start this guide, this strategy, and this video with one important thing here. You need to understand your why. Why do you want to do what we are about to talk about in this video, in the strategy on how you need to make hijrah? We'll talk about the cost. We'll talk about how you get there. We'll talk about things you need to do. But more importantly, you need to understand why you need to do what you need to do. Because that why is that motivation that you and I need. I needed it, and I know you guys need it as well. That could be your children, it could be your daughter, it could be your mother, whatever it is. But the point is this. The why needs to be there because we're going to need the motivation to get through what I'm about to explain to you right now. Right? Someone needs to do it. You need to take the steps, you need to take the actions. And so you need to know your why, your motivation. So when you're watching this video, I want you to think about your why. I want you to think about your daughter, your son, your children, your wife. I want you to think about what is the one thing that is going to make you want to move. I mean, look, guys, I'll put it like this. Today in the UK, for example, my wife is not safe going outside wearing the niqab. She's not. I am worried. I'm currently in the UK and I'm worried about my wife going outside because, look, I can't always be with her, right? And she should not have to live a life like that. And if inshallah, Allah blesses me with a daughter, I would not want my daughter to go out and she's wearing hijab and abaya. Why would I want my daughter to go? If I, as a man, am okay with that, knowing my daughter or my wife are not safe, man, like, what's going on? So let's agree here, you and I today, that we need to do what we need to do. That's why you've clicked on this video, obviously, as well. And I want to now talk to you about the strategy, the things that you need to do, how much it's going to cost you and that sort of thing. So look, guys, you can obviously make hijrah to many countries. Okay, there are many countries you can make hijrah to, but I'm not going to speak about places that I don't know about. I'm only going to speak about places I do know about. So if you're watching this as a Pakistani, for example, and you want to make hijrah to Pakistan, fair enough. You can probably do that for not that much money. You need to have, some sort of online stream. It's not actually that much. I am going to talk to you a lot about the Middle East because I know the Middle East. I actually do recruitment for the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and the UAE. I live in Sharjah and therefore I'm in Dubai a lot as well. And so the Middle Eastern market is something I know very, very well, though a lot of these things will apply to other parts of the world. So let's get right into it. The first thing is simple. If you're working a job and the job means that you have to get into the office, you have to stay where you are, etc., you're going to have to find an alternative. There's no other way because your job may be the reason that you are not able to leave the UK or the US. And so you need to find a solution. But I'm not going to sit here and say, just find a solution. Let's work out how much you actually need, right? Because that's quite important. Now, I've got other videos where I've got videos which are talking about side hustles and other business ideas. And so go watch them to really get you thinking about what ideas you could start. I'm sure there will be an idea that is relevant for you. And by the way, if you're still not sure, let me know in the comments what you do, what your interests are, and what may be an idea that you might be thinking of, or you might not want to tell me ideas that you're thinking of, but tell me your situation. And I will reply to you in the comments and I will help you come up with an idea. I'm going to try to do this in the video. Hopefully if this video goes viral, I might have to reply to millions of comments and that's going to, but I will try to reply to the comments where tell me your situation and let's come up with business ideas in the comments. Watch the other videos once you've seen this video to give you an idea of and get you thinking about things that you can start. Because look, guys, let's be honest. You need to start a side hustle, a business, or do something for yourself where you can be in a different country and not have to report in to companies in the UK, the US. Now, some people will say, well, can I just work remotely? A lot of businesses expect you to stay in the UK at the least because of tax purposes. And sometimes it's just internal regulations that they want you to stay in the UK, even if it's like 100% remote. So what I would say is doing a side hustle or a business is actually the only real way. I'm sure there are some jobs, by the way, that you can, but it's more on the scarce side. And so here we want to talk about what is actually more realistic. Okay, you're working a job. You need to now try to get to, I would say, £2,000 to £2,500 a month, which is a realistic amount for you to be able to move to the Middle East. Now, to give you guys an idea, there are places in Sharjah. I live in Sharjah. Sharjah is an amazing place, by the way. I live in an area which is very modernized, but also very good for Muslims in terms of everyone's covered there, everyone's abayas, everyone's, beards, salah. It's amazing, amazing environment, by the way. Obviously, listen, nothing's going to beat Makkah and Medina, right? But I'm saying it's an amazing environment. And so you can find flats. So 40 to 45,000 dirhams a year is you can get a flat for. That's a 1 or a 2 bed. And that will cost you about £1,000 a month. So it's probably about £800-900 a month, maybe £200-300 electricity and gas. So you're looking at about £1,000. Now, it's not luxury. It's not going to be the best of the best, but it will allow you to get out and move to the country. So I think minimum, you should be looking at £2,500 a month for you to move. I will also say that if you have a family, obviously the cost is going to be more. I say £2,500 is probably quite reasonable for a man and a woman, maybe with one child, right? It's not luxury by any means, but it means that you get out and you can move to the different country. What I am going to do is I was not planning on doing this at all, by the way, but I have a person who I use all the time. He's great. He's fantastic. If you take my name and say Abu Musa sent me here, he will give you a discount. He will look after you. He's been amazing to me. Wallahi, to be honest with you, my brother uses him, my cousins use him, my family uses him. I cannot recommend this person enough. I've had the best service from him. Okay, he knows about setting up in the UAE. He knows about setting up in Saudi Arabia. He knows about any laws and regulations. He will help you with anything, right? Like, he's very much on the ground. And funnily enough, I don't know if he would want me to say, he was actually recommended to me by someone else you guys might be aware of. I don't want to say the brother's name because he might not want me to say it, but another Muslim person who you may know, who is also on social media, recommended this person to me. I've been using him for the last, I say, 2.5 years. Completely recommend him. I get no commission, no cut, no nothing. Wallahi, I get nothing. If you get like benefit and you guys are able to make hijrah, make dua for me. That's all I will say, right? And so I will leave his details in the description as well, inshallah. So what I would say to you, you can now set up a company, visas and all of that stuff. This person can definitely guide you, whatever your situation is, this person can help. When it comes to properties, I would recommend places like Al-Zahiya, Al-Jada, even Muwayla in Sharjah. I would definitely recommend that. That's a place that I know quite well. Dubai, I would recommend Mirdif maybe. And I don't know Dubai that much because I don't actually be in Dubai that much. I would definitely recommend Sharjah. So as a price, that's what I would say. Now, Jeddah is booming. Riyadh is doing well. You could definitely move to places like that in Saudi Arabia. You can also now get visas, set up companies in Saudi Arabia. The process is a little bit longer, I have to be completely honest, by the way, but you can. Now, if you are looking to, for example, just get a job out in the Middle East, you can also do that. And maybe I will make a separate video on how you guys can get a job out in the Middle East. But what I would say to you is my roadmap, my strategy is simple. I needed to set up a side hustle or a business where I was making £2,500-3,000 as a minimum, like on a passive, like that was what I needed to do. Now, thankfully, I had my own company and I was able to, my own recruitment company. And actually, I started in the UK, took it over to Dubai. We now do recruitment in the UK, Dubai, Saudi Arabia. It's perfect business actually for me to be able to make hijrah. I was able to do that. That business allowed me to get to where I am today. What I would say to you is a side hustle or business is super important for you to be able to do. That will allow you to be able to move with a family and be safe and secure, because I don't want you to just go and have to come back after 2 months. Listen, if you have to, right? But ideally, I don't want you to have to do that with a family. How much money do you need when you go out there initially? Look, you should have around £5,000 to £7,000 as a buffer minimum. And I'm saying that as a minimum because you're going to want to get furniture. There's going to be cost in the beginning. You're going with a family to a land that you don't know, right? It is scary, let's be honest. And so have that as a buffer. I've told you about the company setup. Go there, you can do it for about 45,000 dirhams. What I would say to you is this: have the mindset that you just need to take action and take actionable steps. And for you, I would say, if you have not started a side hustle or business or done something where you're working a job, but you're saying, I'm gonna work my job, I'm gonna make the intention that I wanna do this to make hijrah, and so I am going to start a side hustle or a business where I can start £200, £500, £1,000, it doesn't matter, but I'm gonna start. Make dua to Allah that this is my intention, I want to make hijrah, and Allah will bless you. Do you really think that your thoughts will be around making hijrah and you want to do something good and Allah's not going to bless you? But you need to take the action as well, right? You can't just carry on living the life that you're living and then say, I don't want to do anything. Of course, you're going to have to do something, you're going to have to take action. And so I would say the first step to making hijrah, wallahi, I tell you, when I sat there and I knew that inshallah I will become a father, and I did become a father, Allah bless me, I knew I had to take action. I went missing for like 6 months, right? Of course, I was there for my family and stuff, but 6 months I locked in. I was like, I have to. There was an 18-month roadmap. When 18 months, I said, I'm going to start working hard. I'm going to put the effort in. I'm going to turn up every single day, scale it to X amount, save up X amount. I saved up the money. I did X, I did X. When I went over, I knew, man, I was okay. So it's not going to happen overnight. Give yourself a year to 18 months. Start today. Start working on yourself. Save a little bit of money from your job. Do what you got to do, but start something. Start something. Set a company up. Remember, man, it's going to cost you about £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 to set up a company. Set up a company in free zone. Just get in. You can also get, I think, visas like self-employed visas, but speak to the experts. I'm not the expert here. I'm not going to advise you on that. Get a house rental. Again, you're going to have to pay 2 months rent, possibly maybe some deposits. Electricity and gas can be expensive. Cars are actually quite cheap. You can probably get a car for like 250 quid a month rent, including insurance. Run around A to B sort of thing, but you can, right? Schools are quite expensive. I do homeschooling. I'm a massive advocate of homeschooling. If you've got any questions about hijrah, anything I can answer, I will let you know. If I can't, I will direct you to the right person. So whatever you have, let me know in the comments, and I will do my best in giving you as much value as possible. Share with your family or friends, because it's quite important to share this sort of video with your family or friends. Hopefully if you are liking these videos and more to come, inshallah. Barakallah feek. Assalamu alaikum.